Hi, Anson Garcia with Verizon, and today we're going to go over Cisco IP Communicator, queuing, and multi-line. Just a quick nugget today, so let's get started. So we had a customer that had a requirement. They had, first of all, they have UCaaS, 9.x, so they're sitting on UCaaS. They're going to upgrade sometime in the future, something like that, but they have a need today for some basic queuing. Not call center or anything, just some basic queuing, some hunt groups and things like that. They also need some way to log in and log out of hunt groups. So they're obviously going to have a group of people logging in and logging out of some hunt group. There's going to be some DN coming in that's going to spread through a queue, so it has to have some queuing, right? We've got to capture that, and I'll talk about that just in a second. And a hunt group, and then disseminate these calls, these callers to this hunt group, or these personnel that are logged into these hunt groups. And then needs to be a soft phone. So that's what they've deployed. They have soft phones all over, and it has to be some kind of soft phone. The other thing is it needs to be multi-line. So that right there, that multi-line immediately excludes something. And I'll talk about that on the next slide. And then the reason they need multi-line is one of the lines is for a personal, it's their personal DN, their phone number, and then one line is going to be kind of connected to, a hunt group / queue. All right. So let's go to the next slide here. And then here are solutions. So we can use Jabber, right? Does Jabber have basic queuing? Well, Call Manager has basic queuing as of 9.x. Right? So 9.x, they introduced this queuing mechanism inside Call Manager. So let me just bring that up just so you understand what the difference is. So it used to be, let me clear this up. It used to be, let's say, I don't know, somebody out here is on the phone, and they're going to dial a number, 713-307-1212. Okay, that phone, we're going to go high level here, SIP trunking, Call Manager, UCaaS, and stuff like that. It used to be, prior to 9.x, you could do a hunt group. So a hunt group was nothing more than, let's have a phone, let's have a couple of phones out here. And this is self-explanatory, but just to get you up to speed on the differences. Okay, so we have a hunt group. We would create a hunt group in a hunt list and a pilot and things like that. And basically, in a nutshell, this number would come in to Call Manager / UCaaS, and then it would disseminate. People would log in. There's this concept of logging in. So this person over here would log into their phone or log into the hunt group, and the same with this one, the same with this one, and they'd all be ready to take a call. And there's different queuing mechanisms, round robin, longest idle. I won't get into any of that, but basically a call would come in. Hey, this guy's a longest idle. I'm going to send the call over there. I'm going to send the call here. The second, guy that calls in, and the third call that calls in, and I'm gonna send it over there. And then the fourth call that calls in, that was just busy. Or you could drop it to maybe voicemail, Unity, or something like that. But that's it, because there's no queuing mechanism. There's no queuing is like a catcher's mitt. You can hold a call, play music and maybe play some IVR or something like that. And people would play some tricks inside Unity and things like that. But it got a little complex because you were kind of ping-ponging, between Call Manager and Unity, and trying to queue and trying to do something that it wasn't meant for. So in 9.x, they introduced this queuing mechanism. So let me erase. Let's see. Can I erase? I erase this right here. Okay, we'll keep the arrows because things are still going to go out there. But they created this little queuing thing here. So we'll queue here. Okay. So Call Manager, had a queue inside it, and you could do multiple queues. I think it's 100 or something, something like that. And then basically all that did is the same number would come in, and then you could port it out to the IP media stream service, and that's just fancy speak to say I could hold the call. I could park it out here, maybe play music to it. I could do some different call treatment, do some announcements. Hey, thanks for calling. Hey, thanks for holding. Someone's going to be available soon. And basically, these guys would kind of be the same. They're in this hunt group, and they would log in. And as calls came in, now remember we could only take 4 calls before, and then we had to go do something. Now let's say, I don't know, let's say 30 calls come in from out here in PSTN land, and they come this way to call manager, and they can all be kind of held out here, in this queuing mechanism. And then we could play music to them and things like that. And as these guys logged in or became available, then one call would go over here, and another one over here, and another one over here, and then the rest of them, the other 27, would just kind of still be parked out here playing music or what have you. So that's the difference when we went from 8.x world in call manager / UCAS to 9.x, 9 dot something. We introduced queues, and now we could queue things and kind of bring them in. We kind of brought some of that call center capability inside call manager, very lightly, not full call center or anything like that, but some queuing mechanism. At least you could start bringing in calls, and even though you only had 3 people in this little hunt group over here, you could take in 30, 40, 50 calls, and as these guys treated the calls or transferred them or talked to people or whatever, you could hold those other calls over here. Okay, so I just wanted to explain that to you real quick, and let's get back to here. We know we have basic queuing because the customer has 9.x. Good. For Jabber, ability to log in, log out. There is a widget for Jabber that you can kind of plug in, and in the Jabber, inside Jabber, you can kind of click it into log in, log out of queues, or hunt groups, I should say, which are attached to queues. And then multiple lines. Can't do multiple lines, right? Jabber doesn't do that. Jabber has one line on it, and that's it. That's a nix, right? Now, let me just go over this note here. I did some training yesterday. 12, everyone's been anticipating Jabber 12.0, and that's coming out soon, Q1 2018, they say. And it has the ability to have multiple lines. Okay, so that was one of the requirements. But you have to be on UCAS or Call Manager 11.5 SU3, and then you have to install a cop file, and then you have to pat your head and rub your tummy and do the XML config on all your Jabber deployment, and make sure that that's all supported. So in other words, okay, we're not, in reality, they're not at 11.5 yet, and it's probably going to take some time, and maybe they have a big deployment and they have multiple clusters. I don't know that much about this customer, but you see where I'm going with that. It's going to take some time. They need it today. Well, the option is Cisco IP Communicator. Does it have basic queuing? Well, basic queuing is basically on the call manager, so they're at 9.x. Okay, queuing's available over there, so we're good there. Ability to log in and log out. Yes, you can log in and log out, with Cisco IP Communicator, which I'll show you in a minute. Multiple lines? Yes. Remember, IP Communicator supports something like 6 or 8 lines, I forget, but it's way up there. They support multiple lines. It's almost like a 7965, phone or something like that. And then yes, you can have one for personal and then one for the hunt group. So that's kind of a solution, sort of, and we'll see how it goes. We haven't deployed it and haven't talked to the customer or anything like that, but this might be a solution for them, and I just want to show you how it works. So let's do a quick demo. Okay, let's log in to Call Manager here. I just want to show you the back end a little bit, and this is by no means how to configure all this stuff, but if you already know a little about queuing and hunt groups and all that stuff, my review here will definitely connect the dots for you on how all this stuff works. The first thing that needs to be turned on is the IP Media Stream application. That's the thing that does the queuing, or does the announcements do the queuing. IP Media Stream application has always been synonymous with music on hold. So that's how we turned on music on hold in Call Manager forever and ever. We went and turned on this guy right here. Okay, so once that guy is on, and that's usually in all UCAS deployments, they turn this guy on. What do we have to configure? Again, this is not comprehensive. I'm not going to go through all the options. You can pause the video or read about queuing and things like that, but I am going to show you how it's basically set up. First of all, again, it seems a little counterintuitive, but you would go to Music on Hold Sources, and this is basically where you would first, start setting up music on hold. I know in your mind, you're probably, if you know anything about this stuff, you want to go to Hunt Group, Hunt List, and Hunt Pilots. But you would set up a music source. And remember, I told you the IP media streaming is what kind of controls the queuing. And lo and behold, if you create a new music stream here, which I did, and you come down here, you're going to have some queuing options. And I wouldn't say all your options are in here. They obviously are in the hunt group, on that side of the hunt pilot, but there are some. This is where you kind of initially start, so right here, announcement settings for held and hunt pilot calls, and where we can do a welcome, thanks for calling, initial announcements here, wait sample in queue, or wait queue sample, and then the periodic announcement interval, how many times, how many seconds are going to go by before you do this announcement again, and then the locality. And then from there, after we do that, we go into call routing. This is what everyone's familiar with if they've ever done hunt groups inside Call Manager, right? You do your line group first, and basically we're just grabbing, if you remember that picture I drew before, there were some numbers on each of those phones, and we're just pulling, in our case, they're going to be the secondary numbers, right? Line 2. And what I did is I just pulled a couple of numbers in here. And again, I'll show you a demo and it'll kind of pull all this together. But we got a couple of numbers inside what they call a line group. And here are the numbers right there. So I just grab some numbers that are already existing on phones and put them in here, pulling them in here, the line group. And then after that, we're going to go to hunt list, right? And we're going to find a hunt list, and I named it loans. Maybe it's a loans line, a bank or something like that. And then here's my loans description, and then enable this, and then I bring that line group right in here. And you can have multiple line groups, and you can fail over to other line groups, or roll over to line groups, I should say, other line groups, and blah, 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 all that other stuff. Okay, so there's my line group that goes to here's my hunt list that goes to my line group that actually goes to numbers that exist on phones. And then let's go one more up. So we're kind of going up the echelon here. Here's my hunt pilot. This is the actual number that someone has to dial, or the call manager needs to receive, or UCAS needs to receive this number, and it can be translated. Remember, we had some outside number. We can bring it into call manager. We can translate it to this number right here, and then it's going to hit this particular. There's my hunt list that goes to my line group that goes to my lines. Okay, but down here, look what I have. I have this queuing. This is what came out in 9.x, where we have some queuing stuff here. And you can read that. Stop the video. You can check this stuff out. But, how many queues, how many, wait times and things like that. Again, this isn't comprehensive. This is just to kind of connect the dots for you and let you know what's on the back end. So what does it look like? Well, let's take a look. I created two IP communicator phones, and gave one to George Washington. Here's George Washington here, and here's one to Lincoln. Now, to do this, you have to create a template, a phone template, and that phone template has to have a button on it to log into the hunt group. And there it is. And all you do is, there's log out, you see, and then log in. So I'm logging out and into the hunt group. If I get myself out of the hunt group, and both of these guys, remember it was 3001 and 3002, they're outside the hunt group. So if anybody calls that number, there's nobody available. So let's go to Jack over here. We're going to call 3000. We're going to pretend someone from the outside called, and it got translated to 3000. And basically, there's no one to go to. And the way I have it set up, it'll just, hopefully you heard that, it just said my announcement, thanks for calling, that came from the call queue, and then hung up on me. So now if we go log one of those guys in, let's log them both in. Okay, and this is basically, if you want to know call manager and hunt groups, this is how it works. And then let's go make that call again. We're going to do 3000. That's our hunt pilot. And let's go over here. All right, and there it comes, and then 4 loans. And you can see, if that guy doesn't answer, we're going to go over here to Abe, and watch. It's going to come over here because I have it going over. There it goes. Okay, so that's how that works. That's it. And thanks for watching.